Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. Today is Thursday, August the 25th, 2022. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, and I am riding solo with you today. We are going to break down this 6-game main slate for the MLB DFS, DraftKings, Fanduel, and Yahoo main slate. So we've got 6 games, nice little tidy 6-game slate with a couple of monster pitchers in the group today. It's going to be fun to look at and break this down. The key today is going to be trying to be a little bit more contrarian because there's going to be chalk city all over the place with this slate today, no question about it. Just wanted to say hello to those that are already into our chat. So Zachary, I know you were in there early. Love that. We're going to get some, Crash had a good point here. He sent me a DM earlier. We need some tunes in our waiting chat area there to keep everybody entertained. So we'll work on getting some music in there early on. Maybe Crash is working on it now, but if Crash picks the music, we're in trouble. That's for sure. I can hammer him when he's not in here. That's what we love to do. But hello to Zachary. I see Josh in there. I wish he was on here with me today, but he'll be back tomorrow. And tomorrow we also have a 2 brains are better than one lineup that we'll build right on the podcast. Hello, Chris. Good to see you, man. Rodney, what's up? Great to see all you guys in here. No boy from Cali yet, though. What's going on? I think he's hitting this early slate is what's probably happening right now. But yeah, Sean V, we're still waiting. He's still, Mr. Rodon, I think, spooked him out. He hasn't come back. So we need him. We need him in here. We love to have good and bad takes from everybody. We know we all experience them. So we'll do that for sure. Really excited here at Coach Talk, by the way. Boom Fantasy. Their huge launch is coming up this weekend, and we're a big part of that. We're an exclusive partner in a lot of what Boom Fantasy is doing. They will have all kinds of information that we'll share with you on our Twitter, on TikTok, on YouTube here, on our website, and certainly in our Discord with our members. But we're going to be doing a lot of things with Boom Fantasy. And we'll have some giveaways, some free contest entries. Boom is going to be amazing. They're going to have all of the different wagers you can make as far as similar to what PrizePicks is doing. There'll be a competitor in that space as far as being able to wager on prop plays for teams, statistics, DFS, all kinds of different entities that they're going to be able to bring to the table. But I've been meeting and consulting with them for the last 6 months, and it's been a long road to getting them where they wanted to be to get that thing launched. And man, are they top notch, best. I think they'll be the best in the industry, and I'm very honored that they chose Coach Talk to partner with. So keep an eye out this weekend. We'll be putting all kinds of information in here, and certainly some contests that we'll be doing as well. So good morning, RJ. How are you, man? Also this weekend, definitely join us. We're going to have another PayPal cash giveaway on Sunday. But tomorrow and Saturday, Crash and I will be together doing the huge baseball slates all weekend for sure. There he is. Boy from Cali, your ears were burning, man. That's one thing now that boy from Cali's jumped in. The other thing we're doing here at Coach Talk is we're really ramping everything up. We're going to have all the different aspects of some of these new things we're doing here at Coach Talk up and rolling as the NFL gets very close to starting here. You're going to have some exclusive looks at ownership, pitching, all the different statistical aspects of where you're breaking down what that leverage looks like on DraftKings and Fanduel. And we're going to have that live in our Discord and on our website, and more as we go. we're already doing some of that now, and it just will continue to roll out here right as the NFL is getting started. So fun things happening, good times here at Coach Talk for sure, and definitely excited for the Boom Fantasy partnership. All right, if you're watching right now, let's get it out of the way. Take a second. I'm going to ask for a combination of things. We do this in front of the paywall 7 days a week. Quick thumbs up if you haven't done that already. I know most of our group that's in here now is subscribed, but for those listening and haven't, hit that subscribe button and give us a quick comment. That's the one thing I'd like to add to the mix. I just was looking into something regarding the algorithm specifically on YouTube, and the combination of hitting the thumbs up, liking, the podcast, and giving a quick comment, even hello or fired up for the slate, enjoy the pod, or any feedback, questions, feedback, whatever. If you do that right there in YouTube, it really jumps you up the algorithm. And we're the fastest growing, DFS provider in the industry for a reason. And it's because of each of you taking the time to do those kind of things really helps us. And it's greatly appreciated. So what's up, Payne? How's it going, man? Great to see you in here. Appreciate the thumbs up there. So do that if you can. If you're on Twitter, certainly like and retweet. Let other people know that we're live here. We just started this last week going live both on Twitter and YouTube. So definitely appreciate anything you can do to help us grow. Means a lot to us. And we're always going to keep this in front of the paywall because we want to, really do a service out there for all of even our non-members. Members, we're taking it a step further. If you're part of the Coach Talk team, as you come aboard, what we do here is we do a one-on-one study session or skull session, as we call it, with our new members. We talk about contest selection, especially since that's really the most important thing, bankroll management, all the pieces that will help you become a success in DFS and that it's sustainable for a long-term period of time. Because the last thing you want to do to have a fun hobby like this is reload. I mean, nobody wants to do that. So we do that with our members, and we will continue to do that regardless of how big we grow. We are going to continue to do that hands-on with each individual member. So if you are a member and listening and haven't taken advantage of that, definitely DM me, right here right in Discord, or you can send me a message on Twitter or YouTube. I'll get those messages and we'll set it up and get you going. All right. This is a challenge today. For those that listen every day, I like bigger the slates, the better, because I like when people have tougher choices and there's less ownership solidified in specific areas. But there are going to be slates like this where the main slate is 6 games and there's heavy chalk in specific areas. I mean, we know this going in. So as we break these down game for game, that DeGrom is massively owned. Nola is massively owned. So those are the two guys we have to talk about and figure out, can you put both in a lineup? Do we need to find an SP2 to go to? And then as far as stacks, it looks like Philadelphia is going to be back-to-back top stack, and Toronto's pretty popular as well. So where's the differentiation going to come in? And that's what we'll go through today and see if we can find some nuggets to get to that. Some of it, as Boy from Cali just mentioned, you're going to have to eat some of the chalk. I mean, it's that simple. I think Boy from Cali always puts the kid rubbing the other kid's nose in the chalk line on the side. But some of it is just, a couple of different guys to differentiate, but specifically the main guys are going to be very, very hard to avoid on a 6-game slate. Good news is the weather looks great for all 6 games. I expect no problems there. Really shouldn't create any issues one way or the other. There's no super, super hot or cold spots or windy or rain spots for this 6-game main slate. So nice that we can eliminate that piece of it. And we don't have a Coors game. and no Wrigley win game tonight. So those are the things that usually really tilt ownership and can mess up builds. So we don't have any of that to worry about. All right. What I will do is I will mention the game that comes up at 4:10 p.m. Eastern. It's not on the main slate, but if you're going to play it or add it into something, it's the Cleveland Guardians at the Seattle Mariners. The total is 8 in Seattle, 4 implied for both squads. Tristan McKenzie, 9.8K, and Marco Gonzalez, the lefty, at 6.6K. All right. We're going to get into the real deal here. 7:05 is when it gets started. First game on the board, Chicago White Sox, Baltimore Orioles. 84 degrees in Baltimore. Slight breeze blowing out to left at 5 miles an hour. They need that extra breeze with the wall moved back and moved higher, but still some bombs have been being hit lately in Baltimore. Very, very slim chance of a shower there. I'll mention it, but I don't think it's going to create any issues or delays. But that is the one of the 6 games where there is a chance of just a sprinkling. If anything changes with that, we'll always let you know in Discord and certainly on Twitter. All right, 84 degrees, warm, so good game there, good hitting weather. 8 is the total in Vegas, 4.09 for the White Sox, 3.91 for the Baltimore Orioles. Taking the mound for the White Sox is the veteran Lance Lynn, 7.8K, and Jordan Lyles, 6.7K for the Orioles. All right, right out on a limb, right off the bat here. I know I'm a little surprised. This is the first time I'm mentioning him at all. I don't mind Jordan Lyles as an SP2 or value pitcher. I know you got to hold your nose a little bit, hold your breath a little bit, and it's not going to be popular. But when you really look at this slate, you've got DeGrom and you have, of course, Nola. After that, if you really want to save money and go down lower on pitching, for me, after looking at this for hours and hours, I know you're going to say, well, hours and you came up with Jordan Lyles. I'm not going to use them on DraftKings. Okay. Let's get this straight. DeGrom and Nola are priced where you can put them both in your lineup with no sweat on DraftKings. So eat the chalk there, boy from Cali. Get the guy out where he's getting his nose squished in there. But on, really on DraftKings, it's very doable. I do not believe they priced up DeGrom the way they needed to. He's only 10.8, which is ridiculous. I mean, his statistics have been absolutely insane, and Nola is 10K. So you're still getting 3,650 average per player on DraftKings. So load them up. DeGrom and Nola there. FanDuel, certainly not going to go to Lyles there. I think that it's either DeGrom or Nola, but, it's 12.5 for DeGrom. That's the price he needs to be. FanDuel did it correctly. So it is a sacrifice if you take DeGrom over Nola there, because Nola's 10.8. So, that's a decision that's the difficult decision. But those are the two that I would choose from. I think more so if you want to differentiate and play some of the larger entry GPPs on DraftKings or FanDuel, you can try a Lyles as an SP2 to save money. Where I'll be probably using Lyles is on Yahoo. Because first of all, they put DeGrom at $65. And I'll be interested if anybody in here can find it. I don't remember, in playing Yahoo for all these years, I don't remember a pitcher over $65. I mean, when you look at the cost per player and how Yahoo does their pricing, that is an enormous number. To me, that'd be like 13K plus on DraftKings and maybe closer to 14K on FanDuel if you put it into some type of comparison model. But DeGrom at 65, man, that really puts you in a pickle the rest of the way. So I'm looking more towards Nola at a fair 50, and then that's where Lyles comes into play. He's only 31 on Yahoo. So again, we can look at all, and we'll talk about them as we go through these teams. Who's the value SP2? And it's not pretty. I mean, you're not getting a big value on Garcia or Gossman. It really comes down to Tyon, Lynn, Caprillion, Crawford, Lyles, Archer, Feltner, and Dunn. So that is not a pretty group. But if you are going to go down in value, the best of the worst, if you want to say it that way, real vote of confidence, but it's $31 Jordan Lyles, whereas with the two pitchers, Nola and Lyles at 81, compared to trying to get DeGrom in there at 65 alone, it does allow you to buy up to some bats on Yahoo and creates a bit of a differentiation there. So as we talk through the rest of these games, let's try to pick out some people. If we're going to go chalky with DeGrom and Nola, especially on DraftKings, we've got to find some spots to be a little bit different. So we're going to work on that. So let's see what we got here. I do agree. Do not, if you're saying, Zach, the price for Lyles, 8,500 on FanDuel, no way. That's not in play to me. All right. Back to the first game. I wanted to sort of get that all out there because it does become a bit confusing. Both sides here, decent hitting weather. Both teams have been hitting okay. Reason that I didn't go Lance Lynn is just, I respect Baltimore's bats and the fact that he has some serious splits that make a big difference as far as facing righties and lefties. And he definitely struggles with lefties striking them out and giving up some more power. So the problem for that with Lynn is the Orioles have some terrific left-handed hitters they can stack up against them. I mean, Mullins, Rutschman, and Santander right off the bat, that's tough. And then sitting in the 5-hole probably is the youngster Vavra, and Stowers will be shortly after that, and Rougned Odor as well. So you're talking 6 or 7 lefties that can hit against Lynn. So that's why I eliminated him from that side. Also on the White Sox side, they are hot and cold hitting. Certainly Lyles is not anything that I'm ecstatic to say he's a great spot to go. But, you get past Robert and Abreu, especially at the bottom of that lineup. Moncada has been super bad this year, to be honest with you. Andrus, Josh Harrison, Sebi Zavala. I mean, I know Harrison has decent BVP against Lyles. I did see that. If you aren't going to play Lyles, maybe Harrison at 2.4K is a nice play just because of the BVP numbers. I'll read those to you real quick because that is one of those spots where you can get super different. Harrison is 10 for 19 against Lyles. That doesn't make me feel good about Lyles on Yahoo. 526, 1105 OPS, 579 slugging, and that 526 average. So not a bad guy if you're looking for a punt on DraftKings and FanDuel. But I don't think you really need to. I don't like to play a lot of 8-9 hole guys unless I'm doing a wraparound stack, like 8-9-1-2, something of that nature, because you do lose that at bat a lot of times. And that's a big difference. I mean, you look at it in other sports, you take away that 20% of really what they have a chance to give you. It's a big sacrifice going down in the lineup and picking even 7, but definitely 8-9. You got to be very confident they're going to contribute. Plus, there's always the pinch hit possibilities are so much higher for those guys batting lower. So keep that in mind for sure. Boy from Cali, DeGrom, best pitcher on the slate. I would love to say no shit, Sherlock, but but I don't want to be rude, Cali. DeGrom's not just the best pitcher on the slate; he's the best pitcher on the planet, and maybe several solar systems. If you looked at his strikeout percentage since he's come back, 65%. That's not human. A pitching machine that can move the ball around and throw at 105 miles an hour, I don't know if they'd have that percentage. So yeah, you're right, man. He is just unfadable. If you want it in cash, I don't know how you get away from him. But 12-5 on FanDuel is a punch in the gut. It's going to cost you some bats, but you can make it work. We've said very much so recently that there are a lot of cheap bats now that some of the teams have given up, called up the young guys. A lot of guys getting at bats at min pricing. Heck, we had one team yesterday, 6 of the 9 guys were 2K min. So we can make it work for sure. All right. Let's go to game 2 here and keep this train moving. Let's see. There we are. Okay. Game 2's the Reds at Phillies. 7:05 is the start for that one. And it's 86 warm degrees in Philly. Breeze blowing out to right at 4 miles an hour. The total is 8.5. Only 2.74 implied for the Reds. 5.76 for the chalky stack favored Phillies. It's Justin Dunn who's been getting absolutely smoked. 5.7K. Aaron Nola, 10K flat on DraftKings. So let's take a quick look at, let's see, I want to get the stack numbers together here because we'll review those, but I can tell you right now, the Phillies are really getting a ton of ownership. I don't know if it's a little out of leverage there. I mean, people are really wanting to dive on it. And I think it's because, part of that reason is because they have a lot of cheaper guys that you can fit in and make a stack work. But right now on DraftKings, Phillies 21% stack. Toronto, as I said, the other popular stack, 15.6. And then here's where, I may be different. The White Sox are third at 12%. So that's a nice differentiation. Everybody else, single digits, all the way down to the bottom of Oakland, Cincinnati, and Colorado, where they belong. On FanDuel, a little bit different. Philly, 27.9, so even more popular. Toronto, also second there, 18.6 ownership share. Mets are in the third spot at 11.4, and White Sox fourth at 9.1. Everybody else single digits. So really, it's people diving all over Philly. That's definitely the chalk spot. Toronto not that far behind, and then after that it's pretty spread out. So those are a couple of spots. Let's also, since we're here, talk about that favoritism on the ownership. And DeGrom on DraftKings, where he's just terribly underpriced at 10.8, 63.7%. So the bottom line is this: he's the best pitcher on the planet, as we've already stated. He's underpriced at 10.8. He's playing against a horrible Colorado team who can't hit even when they're in cores, let alone on the road. And, only 6.5 out of 10 people are taking him. I don't see how you fade DeGrom. He'll be in 100% of my lineups, cash, single entry, GPP, whatever the contest is. I don't care if his negative leverage is minus 22 right now. That's because he's a 63.7% owned pitcher on a slate where there's only 6 games. But eat the chalk, even as a chalk blocker. And if you don't know what chalk blocker means for any of the newer folks in here, when sometimes, especially in cash, when somebody is so highly owned and the success rate is so high, you got to have them, because even if they do fail, so many other people fail with them in your cash games and games like that. It's not a big deal in those contests because they're failing with you. Now, if you want to differentiate and they do happen to fail, you could, really hit the jackpot if you don't use them. But I don't see how you fade them at 10.8. At 12.5 on FanDuel, you got to swallow hard, but I think you still take them. It's just Yahoo at that crazy 65 number, I think, is where you have to think twice about it. Not far behind on DraftKings, Aaron Nola's 57% owned. So, a lot of people are going to just put DeGrom and Nola and figure it out from there. On DraftKings, it's not a bad plan. I mean, 10-8 and 10K makes all the sense in the world. But on FanDuel, you're obviously going to have to go with one or the other and then go from there. As far as any other pitchers grabbing any ownership, you've got Jamison Taillon, pretty popular, 27%. He's the fill-in SP2 for a lot of people on DraftKings. Lance Lynn at 15. Luis Garcia just passed him up at 16. Everybody else is single digits. On FanDuel, how about this? Nola just has him absolutely smashed because of that pricing difference. At 10-8, Nola's 40% owned right now. DeGrom at that 12-5 number scaring people away, only 23.3% owned. So very odd disparity there. I think that those numbers will get closer together as time goes on. But I mean, that for me, if he's going to stay that less owned than Nola, I think his outcome, I haven't projected, is almost 5 points higher than Nola. I think you got to spend the 12-5 and go with him. And so, that's one area. Nobody else is even double digits on FanDuel. So you're pretty much not going to face many lineups without either Nola or DeGrom on FanDuel today. So, all right, back to this game. We're looking at the Reds Phillies. So how strong is this Phillies stack going to be? Well, it makes all the sense in the world. Dunn has been terrible. I could read up and down his stats. It's all bad. He's not been good whatsoever. And this Phillies team is pretty stacked up. And you, like I said, because you have Hoskins at only 4.6, Bohm at only 4.2, Castellanos is only 4.1, Stott's only 3.9, even Segura at 4K. So those are very affordable. The only pay-ups are Real Muto at 5.4, and that's worth it because catchers are so difficult. Schwarber at the top at 6K is a little rough, but you can definitely find a 3, 4, even 5-man stack with Philly. The problem is, you're going to be so damn chalky if you on DraftKings, if you go DeGrom and you go with Nola and then a Philly stack, you're going to be like everybody else. So you're going to have to find somewhere to get a little bit different. Now, it does switch up a little bit on FanDuel and Yahoo. I think you can get away more with choosing the right stack on Philly. I don't think I'm going 4 or 5 man. I'm probably going to go 2 or 3 and just try to find a couple one-offs and other mini stacks that'll get it done. All right, 2 games down, 4 to go. Let me check chat real quick. I don't want to miss out on any questions or information there. Anybody else join us? Not in chat, but it looks like we have a lot more people that jumped in. Feel free to put any comments or it's great to have Josh in here. Josh on his day off in here, white knuckling it, getting those winners. I love it, man. So let's any questions or comments either for me or Josh. You can ask Josh a question too if he's gonna be in there. I'm sure that he'll be happy to respond. Okay, how about we go to game 3? Game 3, it is the Toronto Blue Jays and the Boston Red Sox. It is at 7:10. And very nice warm day in Boston, 79 degrees, no wind to speak of, totals 9, 5.11 for the Blue Jays, the second chalk stack, and 3.89 for the Boston Red Sox. Good pitcher here that's going completely overlooked, but he is pricey. Kevin Gausman is 9.6K. And then the guy I like to pick on the most, Cutter Crawford, 6.1K. So full disclosure for our listeners, about 4 or 5 starts ago, I actually played Cutter Crawford. So I don't know if I had like head trauma that I was sort of semi-unconscious or what, but I played Cutter Crawford and he was minus points. And since then, not just because I was angry about it, but because he stinks and I watched him pitch. I mean, I love Toronto. I personally have Toronto as my top stack over Philly. I know that Philly's pretty much, much more popular than Toronto, but they are 1-2 either way. I just don't think Crawford's good. And when it's that hot in Boston and Toronto's trying to get the third wild card spot, that lineup is tough, man. You got Jackie Bradley back in Boston too after they cut him. So that makes it fun if the two came in. If you want to do a wraparound stack, I mean, listen to this lineup projected for the Blue Jays: Springer, Guerrero, Gurriel, Kirk, Hernandez, Bichette, Chapman, Biggio, Bradley. So I know Biggio's had a terrible year, and Bradley, didn't hit for Boston. They finally let him go, but there's a lot of hitters in that lineup, and Cutter Crawford has been consistently terrible. So I am all about a Toronto mini stack. I may have a bigger stack with Toronto where I play a lesser stack with Philly on a couple of builds here, but I don't think that you can go wrong there. I think they're a great play. As far as one-offs for Boston, I actually have my BVP play of the day from the Boston side, and that's Tommy Pham. He's leading off more than likely at 4.6K, and he has really had great success against Kevin Gausman. Small sample size, but we believe in BVP here. He's 7 for 14, 2 extra base hit. He's homered. He's walked against them. 1319 OPS, 786 slugging, 533 OBP, and a 500 average. So Tommy Pham, nice little one-off over on the Boston side, I think is a nice play. And I don't think he's going to get a whole lot of ownership for sure. You can still go with a few other players from Boston because some of their prices have come down. Verdugo's been red hot. He's 3.5K. And then, Devers is the only one. 6.1K is a little pricey, I think, against a pretty quality pitcher in Gausman. All right. We go on to the game known as the DeGrom game. It is 7:10 as well. It's the Colorado Rockies against the New York Mets. Total is only 7. It's 83 degrees in New York for this evening's game. 8 miles an hour out to left. How about this implied total for Colorado? 2.02. I mean, that's pretty pathetic. 2.02. And then for the Mets, 4.98. So basically, it's a 5 implied for the Mets and 2 implied for the Rockies. You don't see that often. And if you want to lay the cash, how about minus 440 on the Mets? So I don't know if you have the 440, how bad you need the 100, but good Lord, that is really chalk. You've got Ryan Feltner at 5.9K and a grossly underpriced Jacob DeGrom, in my opinion, on DraftKings at 10.8K. So all about DeGrom all day. Not even going to mention any of the Rockies hitters. I don't see how you can go there. Even if you fade DeGrom and go Nola, how do you have any confidence rostering any of those Rockies? I do not know. As far as on the Mets side, though, certainly, there's some good spots here you can go for the Mets and some decent pricing. Just it seems like they never hit for DeGrom. I don't, there is a psychological statistic that they put together, both the psychological side and a statistical aspect backing it. But when a team has a really spectacular pitcher, their ace, there is a tendency for baseball teams, they relax. They think, okay, he's not going to give up more than a run, maybe 2 in a really bad outing. So we can sort of chill a little bit. We don't have to grind out every at bat. There really is something to that. And they've had statistical backup to show it. And you'll see that through guys' careers like Verlander. I remember way back in the day, even like Dwight Gooden and David Cone, same thing. Their teams just, even though they were good hitting teams, didn't always hit for those guys because I think they just expect, all right, we just got to scratch a run in and we're good. So that gives me a little, hesitancy when trying to put Mets in there when DeGrom's pitching. Feltner's not good though. So it does, maybe this is the time that they score a bunch of runs for him. As somebody that's going to have DeGrom in my lineups, that's the other piece of it. If I stack the Mets, do I really want them to score 7 or 8 runs? Because that means they're going to take DeGrom out sooner. I don't want that. So again, I'm all about the juju. Like, I never play a hitter against one of my pitchers. I never do anything like that. I try to game script everything out. And I'm going to sit there when I'm watching that Mets game, and I don't want it to be 8-0 in the third, because I know I'm only probably going to get 5 innings, if that, out of DeGrom. So again, that all comes into play for me. I think that psychological approach to how you take it and stack it and do it is important. But there are some good plays in here, especially the lefties. Nimmo leading off at 4-6, Vogelbach at 3-8 in the 5-hole probably, and McNeil. The youngster Brett Beatty, man, he's a good player, real nice ball player and a good third baseman. He's down at 2-5, probably in the 8-hole down towards the bottom. Maybe he moves up a spot against the righty. We'll see when that lineup comes out. But couple guys from the Mets, I think you can spot them in there. Alonso at 5-2, not that bad considering, he's a home run per at bat kind of guy that can really get it done. No question about it. Let's see, a couple of things I want to go over. This is the part that really makes me excited about DeGrom. He's been back for 4 outings. Okay. He went 5 2/3, 6 2/3. His pitches were 59, 76, 76, 95 in the last game. So he's stretched out. He's going to go. I think he could go 7-8 innings, 90, 95 pitches. I feel very comfortable. So I'm not afraid on, super pitch count or anything. Again, unless they have a massive lead and they feel comfortable and they want to just give him a little extra rest. The other piece is he is on extra rest. He pitched a full week ago. And the reason that they did that is they wanted to get him slotted in a time that he could be in the next series, which is a big series for them when that rolls around. So they slotted him in, which has given him 2 days extra rest here, which, that's even more dangerous in my opinion for him. All right. Let's move on to two games left, an 8-10, and then all by itself late tonight, an hour and a half later than any other game is 9:40 is that Yankees-Oakland game. But at 8:10, we have the Twins and Astros. The Astros have been a very popular stack recently. I'm surprised they're not higher on that number today, to be honest with you, because it's Chris Archer. I mean, he's washed up for Minnesota, so I'm not sure why that's the case there. I mean, it's in Houston, home game, easy park to homer in. And Minnesota's lineup just came out, by the way. Arise, Correa, Polanco, Miranda, Gordon, Kepler, Urshela, Sanchez, and Celestino. So that's what it's looking like right now for Minnesota. Now, although it says Sanchez is a grade, so maybe they're going to pull him at catcher. Anyway, we don't have the Houston lineup quite yet. I think they deserve more ownership than they're getting. I'm not sure, why teams don't want, or, people don't want to go back there. But, I don't consider Archer as a top flight pitcher by any stretch anymore. So let's look at the DK top stacks. Houston, not bad, 9.3%. So 4th highest stack there, but still, I see them, they should be a 15, 16% stack in my book. Let's look on FanDuel top stack here. They're all the way down to 5th at just 7% ownership share. So maybe that's the spot that I focus on to try to get a little bit different. I mean, the only other thing I can think of is what's scaring people off of Houston is the pricing. They are expensive, but again, all it takes is getting 1 or 2 of those low 2K guys in there and you can make it work. But, Altuve leading off at 5.2 is expensive, but you can get a super cheap Gurriel in your stack at 3.1. Alvarez 5.5, Bregman 4.9, fair. Tucker 4.8, Mancini's only 4, and Jeremy Pena 3.8, and even Christian Vasquez 3.7. So I'll tell you right now, maybe that's what we're uncovering here. Maybe the slate differentiation to some other lineups is getting back to that Houston stack and making that work. So something that we will focus on as we're building these lineups for our members. David, how you doing, man? Good to see you in here. I hope you're feeling better, brother. Prayers with you. We're all thinking about you here, the Coach Talk family. We love when you get in here and are in Discord with us. Great that you're here. But enjoy it today, man. Let's get some winners. All right, we have one game left, and it is that Yankees game that I mentioned. It's 9:40 Yankees at Athletics. 7.5 is the total there, so it's low. It's only 67 degrees in Oakland. Slight breeze blowing out 8 miles an hour. 4.47, which is fairly low for the Yankees, but that is a tough ballpark to hit in. 3.03 for the A's implied. Jamison Taillon, 7.5K against James Caprillion, 7K for the Oakland A's. Taillon, by the way, is my fade pitcher because he's getting a lot of SP2 ownership. I just don't think he's a good pitcher. I know he's only 7,500 on DraftKings, 9,400, which is a little high on Fanduel, and 38 on Yahoo, but he doesn't impress me at all. He pitched, only lasted let's see, where's he at? He lasted 5 innings against Toronto, gave up 3 runs. He pitched against Boston, gave up 3 runs. Seattle, 3 runs. Seattle, the game before that, 5 runs. So he gives up runs. And as far as double-digit strikeout outings, 0. He gets you 4, 5, maybe 6 on a good day. But, you're not going to get a bunch of strikeouts. He gives up contact and barrels, so he's going to get hit from times. What do you need from a guy like this? To me, if you're going to really take that shot and go down to him, you need 30-plus Fanduel points. And the fact that three of the last 4, he had 21, 28, and 17, I don't think that's going to get it done. And I don't trust him as a pitcher. I don't think, with that really good bullpen that they have to have much of a long leash with him at all. So just don't feel like he's a safe play. Don't like his statistical drop. And for that, he's going to be a fade for me. Or as they say on Shark Tank, and with that, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? All right. My home run call today, I forgot to mention. Let's go back to that. It's in that stack, my favorite stack of the day, and that is the Toronto Blue Jays, and it's Vlad Guerrero. Not a lot of BVP here, but as far as pop, where he sits in this order, what I think that his potential is in this game, he is my home run call. Will I be able to afford him? It's probably not on DraftKings where I'm going to pay up for both stud pitchers. But definitely will have him in a few spots where I can plug him in. I wish his pricing was a little better, but he is my home run call today. Absolute Power, how you doing, man? Thanks for joining us. Appreciate that, David. Great comments, man. Let's get you winning some cash money tonight for sure. Take down David night. It's going to be called. All right. Let's jump to, let's see. That's all the games. Is there anybody else? Oh, I didn't really talk about the hitting here. Let's talk about the hitting in this game. So the Yankees, are they going to be stacked much? Not according to the stack tools. They're not in the top 5 anywhere, which is very unusual. I think it's a combination of 2 things. Oakland is a difficult place to hit, and their prices are high. But I'm going to have some Yankees exposure. Whereas people are jamming in 4 or 5 Phillies, I'm going to disperse some of that, add an extra Blue Jay, get some Astros in there, and sprinkle in some affordable Yankees. Because Benintendi, who's actually been super hot the last 3 games, he's only 3.8 leading off, a lefty against Caprillion. LeMahieu at 4.5. Of course, Judge at 6.2. Rizzo 5K. Great play too. It says here, I don't know if this is the case. Somebody tell me in chat, but in the lineup, it says Giancarlo Stanton may play today. So does anybody have news? I'm going to jump back to the, let's see. I don't know. Nobody else has said anything yet. So I have no idea if that is for sure, but it does change things a little bit for that Yankees team. And it definitely would up my stackability if he does return for this game. So the fact that he's in a possible lineup construction here makes me think there's a possibility he plays. Also, Josh Donaldson at 3.9 is cheap. I'll tell you what, that Oswaldo Cabrera, I mentioned it the other day on the pod. If you haven't watched him play, what an exciting young player this guy is. I saw him make one of the Jeter jump throws at short the other day, which was insane. Then he came up in right field and threw a seed to the catcher to get the guy out at home that would have tied the game. I mean, he can play anywhere. He's got a ton of personality. Needs a little work with the stick, but he's a 2K min. If you're going to go with some kind of Yankee stack, you can get super thin at the bottom. Cabrera's 2K, Trevino 3, and IKF is only 2.7. So, it gives you the opportunity to get more Yankees in that lineup if you like. Now, since Jameson Taillon's my fade pitcher, does that mean I'm going to stack the A's? No. Who stacks the A's? You got to have some guts if you do that. I do think they'll hit them a little bit, but it's just they're awful. They are so bad, but they're cheap. If you want to grab some middle of the lineup dudes, you can always go for the 2.9 Seth Brown or Pinder at 2K min. You have to hold your nose and not take a breath when you pick these guys. But, vote at 2.4, Stephen Vaught, vote, whatever. He's in there. There's a lot of guys you could take one or two if you do think, like I do, that Taillon's going to get hit. The only problem is they do pinch hit. They're bad. And the Yankees have a fantastic bullpen. So not really excited about it. Maybe a one-off A at the very most, to be honest with you. I doubt I'll be able to pull a trigger beyond that. All right. Any questions in chat? Let's see. Aaron Boone confirmed he's on track to play. Thank you, Zachary. So Giancarlo Stanton back in the lineup looks very possible. And, man, what a nice lift for the Yankees. Definitely changes that order. We'll see if it moves people around at all. I don't know if they'll plug them right in behind Judge right off the bat. Or not. So we'll watch that lineup as it comes out, and certainly raises the interest for me because it's, regardless that he's just back and he strikes out a lot and all that stuff. I think, he gives a lot of protection to Judge and Rizzo and those guys. So certainly very interested there. Any Chicago White Sox love was the question. I'm not on the White Sox today because, as I mentioned earlier, and I say this very tepidly, Jordan Lyles is a very thin, low-owned value play for me that I may use in a few spots, especially on Yahoo. So I'm not, really into the White Sox in this game. Baltimore's a tougher place to hit. The fence in left is way back and way taller. And, a lot of those long fly balls that Robert and Abreu and Sheets and some of those guys hit are going to be outs. So I'm not going on the White Sox today, probably at all. They're pretty low owned, in ownership, single digits or upper single digits. So you may be able to differentiate there, just not a place probably that I'm going to go. All right. Real quickly, if you want to join us, perfect time to do it. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 3-day pass, $10. Go to dfscoachtalk.com. If you're a former member, shoot me a message. We'll get you in there for 3 days for free. We're letting our new members come back in. Check us out for a few days. Just send me at DFS Coach Talk DM on Twitter, and we'll get you in there for the 3-day pass, but you have to be a former member. If not, dive in. What's $10? I've said it before. Value meal, Big Mac value meal at McDonald's. If you get the large fries, same price. And we're much more healthy for you than McDonald's. So come on aboard. All right. PrizePicks. My 2 PrizePicks plays. I don't know if I have the courage to do it. You know what? You can't win if you don't put yourself out there and play a little bit, right? Jordan Lyles is only 23.5. So I'm going to take the over. Again, I think he lasts long enough against the White Sox. I like the park to pitch in Baltimore. And Lyles does strike some guys out. Yes, he gives up hits and some bombs and barrel and all that, but he does get strikeouts. He's had, a few decent games, 6-7 strikeouts, where, it's not going to take that much to get over 23.5. If he can just get me 5 innings and get, 5-6 innings, 25, 27 fantasy points, I will be thrilled. So I'm going to take the shot at that one. I know, it's going to not be a very popular play, but I think it's a nice low number that's attainable. Also, I'm going to go with his battery mate, Rutschman. It's only 6.5 on the total fantasy score. Too low for Rutschman. When he gets to bat from the left side, he is an absolute monster. Trust me, this is going to be one of your best left-handed power hitters in the major leagues for the next decade. This dude has power like you cannot believe. Lance Lynn is a grinder. He's always around the strike zone, throws a ton of strikes, challenges guys all the time, hasn't faced Rutschman yet, and guess what? I think Rutschman's going to be waiting, sitting on a few of those pitches, and I think he could take him deep. He was almost my home run pick, but I had to go with Vladdy. But I love Rutschman over 6.5, even if he doesn't fully get one, a gap shot, knock a run in, and he's got that number covered. So that's what I'm doing there. All right, Boom Fantasy, 2 wagers of the day. Got a few good plays for you there. I like the Toronto Blue Jays on the run line, giving a run and a half. You can do it here, and it's only minus 107. So you get them at a really good number here at minus 107. And why not? I got them scoring a bunch of runs. They're going to get that 9th inning at bat. So I really think this is a great spot for them in Fenway, almost 80 degrees there. And it's Cutter Crawford, the guy I like to pick on most. So I'm all over the Blue Jays. That'll have a lot to do with my slate, my Blue Jays stack and the Blue Jays overall. My other play that I like is over in that late game, Oakland and the Yankees. I think that line will move, especially if Stanton's in there. It's only 7.5. Jameson Taillon and James Caprillion, not that good. They're really not. I know Oakland can hit their way out of a paper bag, but it's the Yankees. And I don't like Taillon that much. And I think they get over the 7.5 number. Don't be surprised if it moves to 8 when Stanton is confirmed in that lineup. So jump on that. It's over 7.5, minus 113 right now. So that's my play there. All right. I think that is everything. I did see that, it's amazing. That's a new one I've have not seen before on PrizePicks is DeGrom's strikeout number is 9. So, when they're setting that number at 9 in Vegas and on PrizePicks, you can expect a ceiling strikeout game from Mr. DeGrom. So I don't think I have the courage to play it because it's just an unheard of number. It's like an over-under set at 13.5 or something. It always makes you funky when you play one of those. Not that he can't have 12 strikeouts in 6 innings, because I think that's probably what he's going to do. So, don't be afraid to do it if you believe in it, but that is a big number. There's no question about it. I wouldn't play the under, though. That's for sure. All right. I think that is it. I wanted to stay under an hour. We did it, even on a smaller slate. Appreciate everybody checking it out. Now, tomorrow and Saturday are our big days, both 1:30 podcasts, I believe. or is Saturday an earlier one? Crash, if you're still in there. But I know tomorrow's 1:30 for sure because it's a huge evening slate. And then on Fridays and Saturdays, we do the Two Brains Are Better Than One build for Fanduel as well. Todd, great to have you in here, man. I'm sorry that you just caught us at the end, but you know what? The beauty of it is you can rewatch it on Twitter or on YouTube, so you'll catch the whole entire thing, even with me saying hello to you at the very end. So glad you're in here, buddy. Appreciate everybody that joined. Keep telling friends, neighbors. I wore my hat today, so I didn't scare the kids off with that bald dome. That didn't quite work out for me yesterday, so I went back to the hat today. You know, in baseball, you have to have these quirks and believe in this stuff because that's how baseball is. You know, you jump over the chalk line and that's it. So that's what we're going to do. So, all right, fantastic. Hopefully this helped you build some lineups. We'd love to have you join us at Coach Talk. Check us out. Check us out on Twitter at DFS Coach Talk. I am at Joe Sarvati, as it says right under my name. And we'll be posting ownership later this afternoon, stack percentages, and all that good stuff for our members. So have a great Thursday, and I'll be back tomorrow with Crash when we look to crush it in MLB DFS, Prize Picks, and Boom Fantasy.